you. Now, Brother Ron, do you have that membership card back there ready? Now, before you say no, it's kind of like before you say no, ask the Browns how that goes. I'll be honest with you. You know what I thought about when they had your second reading? Thing that went through my mind was I wish Nathan Moore was here because I remember I won't say I don't know 8, 9, 10. It's been a long time ago. I remember Nathan went up to you, and I wasn't. I thought. I mean, I just thought it was odd. He walked up to you, and he says, we would love to have you as members of our church family. And I remember you said, no, no, no. That's the only time I'd ever seen a man cry when somebody told him no, not to change their membership. I mean, he cried. Nathan cried, and I'm like, so I'm just. Oh, don't think you getting it light because you took so long. When this is over with, I want y'all at the back door because everybody's going to give y'all a holy slobber kiss and a hug. I'm so glad. Yes, sir. Well, we just had to let her cook a little bit longer, like we did the Browns. It'll eventually. Ron, I'm sure, has got that membership card back there and give to her. Um, wow. Ken, remind me afterwards. Sometimes the parable of the rich man and Lazarus. Most people don't know it, but like in our culture, we've got little fairy tales like the Three Little Pigs and Hansel and Gretel. Jesus took two little fairy tales of the day. One was Gad Eden. I don't remember the other one. He took two little fairy tales and meshed them together to make the rich man and Lazarus. And I mean, it's everything. One of them, the wicked. Anyway, I'll give you the background behind that you can share, showing that it was a parable. But Lord is good to us. Now, Miss Larisha's not here, which is probably good because I changed my sermon title, which she probably, I don't know. I changed it. It was Standing on an Earth That Is Falling, but I changed it this morning to the final forecast. Father, I want to thank you so much for the few moments we have to be able to look at this issue, this topic. And I pray, Father, that you move upon our hearts, that we may be ready for what is coming. We love you and we thank you for us. In Christ's name we pray. Amen. Now, before I get into the message, I'm going to jump to the conclusion real quick and tell you why I'm sharing this with you. I know a fellow that loves to stand on the porch and watch storms come in, especially tornadoes, and has no fear of them. His motto is, I have no fear of the present because I have seen my future. As a result of today's message, I want you to be able to stand as the storm that is already on the horizon, and we're going to talk about it. As it begins to blow into your neighborhood and into your home and into your life, I want you to be able to stand on the porch and watch it with a smile on your face and excited and glad that it's here. And if you listen to what Jesus tells you to do right here, you're going to be just that. So that's why I'm sharing this with you. The motive, I want you to see yourself standing out on your porch smiling when the gates of hell are let loose and all the earth is trembling beneath your feet and the skies roll. What is it? The thunder's going to roll. And the final storm, the last storm of all storms is going to come. I want you to look forward to it with a smile. I told my wife, I said, you know what? The Lord has been so good to me. We had a tornado come through. My house was in line of a tornado a couple years ago. Craziest thing. Tornado came across the pasture, it ripped this tree up. It jumped over my house and then ripped another tree up. I'm like three Hebrews. Hey, you know what? So what if it hits the house? I don't care. Like the Shadrach, even if the Lord doesn't decide to deliver me from this flame, I know where I'm going. Now, I have to tell you the story about two men, David and Russell. David and Russell. Now, David, both of these men lived within rock's throwing distance of each other. Their houses in the same community, less than a mile apart. Maybe that's a little more than rock throwing distance. Depends on how hard you throw, I guess. And they live at Mexico Beach, Florida. I'm not sure where that is. Anybody know where Mexico Beach, Florida is? Well, anyway, it's right on the water. It's right on the water. And in 2018, who remembers what came across Florida? Anybody remember? Hurricane Michael, who is like Michael. Hurricane Michael came through. Now David was told, listen, this is not a safe place to be. The main bulk of the storm's coming right through here. You need to evacuate. David says, hey, every year storms come through here. I'm not worried. And so David stayed. And for those of you that remember 2018, when Michael hit, right before it hit, it turned into a Category 5, 160 mile an hour winds, 30 mile an hour surges of water. When it hit his house and his house began moving, David climbed up into the attic. The house was completely ripped off the foundation and floated away, cracked up. Anyway, he managed, don't ask me, I don't know, I wasn't there. He managed to get out, and he was holding on to something that was floating until somebody could come and get him. He later said, if I had left, I would still have my life. He lost his pets. He lost his home, all his pictures, he lost everything except his life. I guess he got lucky there. Lost everything but his life. No belongings. If I had simply followed directions, I would still have everything. You know, disasters don't wait till you're ready. You know that, right? Ignoring warnings does not make the hurricane go in a different direction. And the storm is not the time for you to start preparing. We as Seventh-day Adventists teach, now is the time for you to start preparing. Now that's David. Right down the road from David, just a couple hundred yards, we have Russell King. Now Russell King, he built his house in 2016. And when he built his house, he told the contractors, he said, here's what I want you to do. I want you to double reinforce that concrete. I want you to put extra rebarb in it. And as a matter of fact, I want you to put extra concrete. And he says, I want you to put impact windows. The roof, he says, I want this roof, I don't know how he did it, but the roof was connected to the foundation through steel. Contractor said, dude, you are crazy. He said, you don't need to do that. The code, the local codes don't call all that. You can get away with just doing this and save a lot of money and a lot of time. And Russell said, and I quote, the contractor said, you're overbuilding. And Russell replied, we're building for the storm that's going to come someday. That day came, October the 10th, 2018, Category 5. Same flood water, the same flood that completely, as a matter of fact, David's home, not only did it wash his home away, the foundational slab, the concrete slab was gone too. I don't know how in the world he survived that. He must have 9 lives. Flood came, 30-foot surges, 160 mile an hour winds. And it was all said and done, the FEMA aerial photos, interesting, they're on the internet, look them up. The FEMA aerial photos shows nothing, most of the concrete slabs didn't get blown away. Concrete slabs as far as the eye can see, no homes, no cars, no trees, everything was washed away. And right in the middle of all of it was one man's house. Russell King. He had a few dings on the outside of his paint on the outside. But other than that, his was the only house there. As a matter of fact, the news stations, they renamed his home to the Sand Palace. Sand Palace. Shredded everything. Entire structure swept off the foundations. Homes, cars gone, everything gone. Reporter asked him how his house survived. He says, we built it for the big one. Their preparation didn't stop the storm. It didn't change the direction of the wind. It didn't stop the surges from being 30 feet high. The only thing it changed was the outcome. He didn't lose his home. 2 men, 2 houses in the same neighborhood in the same storm. One man suffers loss, one man does not suffer loss. 2 outcomes. The decision you have to make is, are you going to build for the storm to come? Are you building for eternity? Is your soul double reinforced? We're going to talk about that here in just a second. It's very interesting when you look at this particular parable that Jesus told. It's the first time I've ever really linked these. You remember in Matthew 7, this is not the parable. Matthew, right before it, Matthew chapter 7, 21 through 23, it talks about, oh, by the way, this story is about the 2 kinds of Christians that will be on the earth when Jesus comes back. This is not about the world. This is about 2 types of believers that's going to be on the planet when Jesus comes back. Immediately before it, Matthew 7, 21 through 23, you've got, not everyone who says unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he doeth the will of my Father. And many will say unto me on that day, didn't we preach in your name? Didn't we cast out demons, do many wonderful, mighty works? Jesus says, priority number 1, depart from me. I don't even know who you are. You workers of iniquity. And I'm thinking, wow, workers of iniquity. It's interesting because he redefines what workers of iniquity is in the very next verse when he talks about this story right here. He said there's 2 builders. The whole issue here is about the foundation upon which you're built. The storm is coming to all of us. The only issue is there's 2 types of Christians. There's those that's ready for what is coming, and there's those that's not ready for what's coming. You won't be able to stand on the porch and watch the storm come in with a smile on your face? Listen to me. The wise, those who are prepared, are the ones who not only hear these words of mine, but they do them. The other man heard the words, but he didn't do them. Everything revolves around your willingness to submit to God's leading. Are you obedient or are you not? Because obedience is the only thing that separates the people from these, in both of these stories, obedience. We're either obedient. The wise man is the one who takes the things that Jesus is teaching, he organizes his life in such a way that it is in line and in harmony with God's will. We're either following, we're either obeying, or we're not. It's that simple. It's interesting because when Jesus told this, it was in Galilee. And in Galilee, it was one of those places where it was known for when floods come, people didn't build their houses in the right place, they washed away. Very few would take the time and the effort. Very few would make the preparation and the planning to do it right. Now, this speaks to us because we in the popcorn, we in the microwave generation. I mean, it's hard for us to imagine it would take more than 5 minutes to get through a drive-thru and get our food. It takes more than 5 minutes, we want a refund. 7 if you're patient. We want everything quick and we want it now. Here's the key. Are we daily, well, matter of fact, Ripton, I appreciate that song. I've never heard that song before. I was sitting there listening to that song. I thought, that's the whole sermon. You just summed up a whole sermon in one song. Day by day, trusting in the Lord, depending on Him. Brother Garfield said during Sabbath school time, if you love Jesus, there's a certain kind of life you need to live. Ellen White says this parable is a warning against complacency Christianity. Those who come to church and sing, but that's the only time Jesus ever comes out of their mouth is when they're singing a song. Their lives are not structured around obedience to His word. Folks, the final forecast, there's a storm on the horizon. Let me tell you about my week. I got in the car. I think it was Wednesday. I was driving down the road, and sometimes when I'm driving down the road, I got different things. You know, I'll sometimes I'll play my Bible, or sometimes I'll listen to. Anyway, I thought I'm gonna listen to radio. I'm gonna flip through and see if there's anything worth listening to. Cut it on the first channel it came to. There was a guy preaching. I thought, okay, I'd like to hear this. And the words out of his mouth, our nation has got to the point that without a recommitment to God, we will fall. We have to rededicate ourselves to the Lord. And he began to describe Sunday, what his Sunday looked like. Now, had he not said Sunday, had I bleeped out Sunday every time he said it, you would have said that guy was a Seventh-day Adventist. He was reprimanding his congregation for how the things that they did on Sunday. You know, the football game, all this other stuff, rather than God. I thought, man, that dude would be a Seventh-day Adventist if he just. And then I'm saying this for a reason. I'm telling you what's on the horizon. This is just a little. This ain't no big time preacher. It's just somebody here locally. I don't remember his name. I think he was out of Waco or something. But I'm telling you the spirit that's sweeping. Most afternoons, if I'm at home, I'll go make me a little protein smoothie, and I'll go sit on the porch swing for about 10 minutes and drink my protein smoothie. And sometimes I'll go out there. I just wonder what's going on in the world today. And so I flip my news channel on while I'm sitting there. And the news had I don't remember the guy's name. He's renowned. As soon as all he could talk about was rededicate 250. The importance of our nation getting back to God. And he talked about the importance of the government's role in helping people to get back in their walk with the Lord. Does anybody know what today is? No, hold on. Hold on. I need to share this with you because this is very important. Yeah, it's Sabbath. It is Sabbath. You got that. That wasn't tricky, was it? I had it in. Here it is. Did y'all know that today is the kickoff for Rededicate 250? And I'm just giving you something to think about here. We haven't really seen presidents who are interested in a spiritual being, but do you know the executive order that was made is let me read it to you. Throughout this historic year, we rejoice in the triumph of America's spirit in rededicating this is from the president, rededicating ourselves to the cause of liberty and justice for all. In special honor of 250th glorious years of Americans' independence, and on the weekend of Rededicate 250, a national jubilee of prayer, praise, and thanksgiving, Jewish Americans are encouraged. Now, why is this important? Jewish Americans are encouraged to observe a national Sabbath from sundown, May the 15th, yesterday, to May the 16th. Friends, family, and communities of all backgrounds may come together in gratitude for our nation, for our great nation. This day will recognize the sacred Jewish tradition of setting aside time for rest, reflection, and gratitude to the Almighty. Now, it's interesting because Rededicate America, it may start with the Jews, but it's not going to end with the Jews. We already know. We already see the blue laws that are going to be reinstituted to rededicate America. We already see the blue laws that are going to be reinstituted. We already see the Heritage Foundation, who's been going on. I'm not opposed to Heritage. I'm just giving you the facts. They say only way we're going to save our nation is to save the family, and the only way we're going to save the family is to reinstitute blue laws and get people back to God. Folks, listen. We see the clouds gathering on the horizon. We're not talking years anymore. We're talking weeks, maybe months. Rededicate 250. All of you have heard this story. December the 26th, 2004. Massive hurricane. A massive earthquake triggered a tsunami in the Indian Ocean. Now, for those that don't know, this was the greatest natural disaster of our time. 200,000 people died. But here was something I thought was very interesting. In a place, in a resort, it's called Sofitel Resort in Koh Lake, Thailand. Something incredible had happened. There were tourists everywhere on the beach enjoying the day. And all of a sudden, you could tell they were tourists, all of a sudden, the water just started disappearing. And they're all like, what's going on? And so they all had their cameras taking pictures and then just thinking, wow, this is incredible. When all of a sudden, one man, his name was Kung Chai, Kung, Khun, Kung Chai, who grew up in the area and who was a security guard for the motel in which they were staying, recognized exactly what was going on. And so without hesitation, he ran out to the corner, started yelling. What did he yell? You don't mean Mrs. Run! I got to forget. Run! Get off the beach, run! Get up on top of the building. I guess a massive concrete building, I guess. Yelling, screaming, telling them to run. Get up on top of the. Now I'm gonna say this. Some hesitated, some ran. Less than 1 minute from his first word, run, the waves hit them. Make sure I get the height of this thing right. 30-foot high wave hit the beach. Everybody that hesitated, what happened to them? Everybody that hesitated died. Everybody that did not hesitate lived. Now, here's what's interesting. Many of those people who lived, listen to what they said. This is a British guy here. He told BBC, we didn't know what was happening. We just ran because the guy told us to run. Everyone who followed him, everyone who followed him survived. Everyone who stayed on the beach is now gone. Swedish family, Swedish family. We heard this guy, get up, get up. We didn't understand why, but we listened. And today we're alive. If we had hesitated only a few seconds, the waves would have swept us away. An American couple, the Sutherlands. A man was yelling for everybody to get off the beach. We didn't question it. We just followed it. We learned later it was less than a minute that the wave hit the beach. Folks, listen to me. Jesus is telling you in this parable, Jesus is telling you a flood is coming. And not everybody's going to survive it. But the good news is, he says, let me tell you how to survive it. You follow the commands, the clear instructions that I have given you, and you will live. You don't follow the clear instructions. When the rains come down and the winds blow, the metaphor for when it all breaks loose, when the final storm rolls in, if you do what I tell you to do, if you hear these words of mine and do them, what will happen? You're not going to suffer loss. Isn't it interesting? That's how Revelation starts off. In Revelation chapter 1, verse 3, blessed is he who hears and reads the words of this prophecy, not just the whole book. Blessed is he who hears and reads and who follows the things that are written therein. I want you to try for just a second to visualize this. In Revelation chapter 7, it starts off with angels holding back the winds of strife. These are winds of destruction. When these winds, according to God's words, matter of fact, all through the Old Testament, it's called a day of deep darkness and gloom. Yeah, I wrote it down. Joel chapter 2, verse 2. A day of darkness and gloom, a day of dark clouds and a day of clouds and thick darkness. Zephaniah calls it a day of wrath, a day of darkness and of gloom. When these angels let loose of these winds and Satan is turned loose, a storm like this planet has never seen before. I want you to stand on the porch and smile. I want you to stand on the porch, lift up your head, and give praise to the Lord. That's that for you to be in that mindset when this starts happening. When the earth is trembling beneath you, when Psalms chapter 46, when the ocean is going crazy and islands are sinking and all this stuff is happening, when the stars are falling out of the sky, it says God's people will lift up their heads and rejoice because they know their redemption is drawing near. That only happens when you follow God's word, when you obey it to the letter. Not this partial stuff, not when it's convenient, all the time. Now let me give you another picture. Revelation chapter 6, in the sixth seal. It says the earth is trembling, the stars are falling, the sun quits shining, the heavens open up, and the wicked are crying. I have never seen a wicked person as afraid as what I see them right here. The wicked are begging the mountains to fall, to jump up off the earth and fall on them and hide them from the one who's coming. This is a fear that I've never seen before. When you get on in, and this is interesting, the seventh trumpet and the seventh bowl both are the same. They both are describing what is coming. Both of them say flashes of lightning. Now, we ain't talking about that little stuff you see in the distant sky. We're talking about that stuff when it cracks. You ever seen it when one of them videos where somebody's standing on their porch and lightning strikes a tree by their porch? How they break a leg literally to get back inside? We're talking about that kind of lightning. Flashes of lightning, rumbling, and peals of thunder. A great earthquake. We're told so great many of the island chains are going to disappear. Huge hailstones, about 100 pounds each. And you can stand on your porch and smile because your Redeemer lives. Because you know where you go. You can only do that if you are fully committed now. If you are fully committed now, who shall be able to stand? You know, before a storm, I don't know about your house, but where I live, anytime, the second Tuesday of every month, or anytime a tornado is coming through, the siren starts going off real loud, annoying. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell you something. What you see happening right now with Sunday, with what's going on, the storm sirens are sounding. The storm is coming. You don't wait till the storm gets here to get ready. You get ready before the storm gets here. You know, it blows my mind. Sometimes I find it hard to figure out. We go to so much effort and energy for things that are really insignificant compared to things that are eternal. I was looking, I didn't know this. I guess this is a Floridian thing. How many people are from Florida in here? We don't have nobody. We got one from Florida. Well, you help me here and tell me if this is right, because I don't live in Florida. So during hurricane season, 90 days before hurricane season, you create your family emergency plan. You confirm your evacuation routes, A through F. You identify your 2 evacuation routes that you're going to take. You check your home insurance, your flood, your car, and all that stuff. You service your generator, make sure it's got oil and spark plug, and you look at your shutters and see if you need to get any plywood to fix. Now, this is 90 days. And you stockpile on batteries and water, flashlights, first aid, manual can opener, all those things. You do that. Okay. Now that's 90 days. Well, we ain't got there yet. On 30 days before it gets here, you refresh your 7-day emergency kit. You buy all the shelf-stable foods, the canned beans, rice, peanut butter. You fill your prescriptions. Keep at least a 30-day buffer. I guess down there in Florida, they give you extra prescriptions. Up here, they don't give you just enough to get you through the month. You prepare your pet supplies. Make sure they got their food and everything. You trim your trees. You cut down the limbs and branches, clean them up, and you take a photograph of your house and your property because you may need it. 7 days before a potential storm. Already on the news now, it could hit. We don't know where it's going to hit, but it's coming this way. Top off your vehicle. Make sure your oil, your wipers, and your tires are good. Check your generators working. Buy extra water, at least a gallon per day. Buy ice, freezer packs. Fill empty bottles to freeze. I guess you freeze your bottles. Clean your gutters and your drains. Test your weather radio. Make sure your phone alerts are working. 3 days before it hits, fill your gas tank. Go withdraw some cash out of the ATM. I guess you ain't gonna get none after it comes. Charge all your power banks. Move everything outside, inside. Cut the plywood if you need to. Set your freezer and refrigerator to the coldest setting. You do that? I guess because when it hits, you lose power. Confirm your evacuation plan with your family. Yeah, welcome to Florida. I mean, we ain't done yet. We're just getting started on that. 2 days before it hits, install the shutters. If you need new shutters, put them in there. Reinforce your garage door. Move all your valuables to a higher shelf. Prepare yourself a go bag with your ID, your insurance papers, your medication, your chargers, and your cash. And check on your neighbors if you got any. 1 day before it hits landfall. Evacuate if you've been ordered. David should have listened to that, shouldn't he? Park your vehicle on high ground. Fill your bathtub up with water. Unplug your electronics. Keep your phone fully charged. That means no surfing on Facebook. Charge it up. Keep it charged. Conserve your phone battery. You couldn't make it as Florida, could you? Stay tuned to local officials. During the storm, stay indoors and away from the windows. Do not go outside, especially not in the eye. Keep your weather radio on. Conserve your power. After the storm, don't step on no power lines. Don't drive through flood water. Document damage with photos. Use a generator, outdoor only. And the list goes on. I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I got 2 pages of how to get ready for a hurricane, how to get ready for a storm. And Jesus gives one sentence. Listen to what I got to say and do it. If he says run to higher ground, you better run to higher ground. What is it? In 70 AD, they didn't go back into the house to get anything. They hit the road, and every one of those that hit the road lived. Why do we find it so difficult to do something so simple? I don't know. I can't figure. If you figure it out, tell me. Simple. Captain Sully. Made a movie about this guy, considered an American hero. Anybody remember Captain Sully? Remember Captain Sully? Yeah, some of y'all from New York. Well, I'm going to tell you what you don't know about Captain Sully. Well, for those that hadn't heard, Captain Sully's a pilot. He come out of LaGuardia in 2009, January 15, 2009, U.S. Flight 1549. Just a minute or so after he got up in the air, he hit a big old flock of geese. It must have been a big one because it took out both motors. I've seen them motors on YouTube. They suck people in there and still be going. So I don't know how many geese it was, but apparently it was a lot of them. He was only 2,800 feet in the air. 2,800 feet. Now, in aviation terms, that's called a death sentence. Almost no time, no altitude, and no margin for error. But Captain Sully, at that moment, took control of the plane. Calmly took control. And he guided the plane over New York City and landed it in the Hudson River. And all 155 people on board lived. Now, here's what you don't know. The world calls it a miracle. Sully said something that revealed the truth behind what just took place. Listen to what he said. For 42 years, I've been making small, regular deposits into this bank of experience, education, and training. On January the 15th, the balance was sufficient so that I could make a very large withdrawal. You don't wait till the plane's going down when tragedy hits to try to figure out what you're going to do. It happens by your daily walk with Jesus. Every day, every week, this guy's going to the simulator and he's planning. He's saying, "Here, what am I going to do? Here, in case of an emergency, what do I need to do?" He did it so much that it was second nature. He calmly took it was second nature to him. You listen to him on the radio as he's talking to the tower. He's not panicking. He has prepared himself for this moment. Have you prepared yourself for the moment that's coming? You don't wait till it comes and hope all of a sudden you're going to get ready. Now is the time you get ready. It's how the spiritual life works. It says you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to the level of your preparation. When temptation hits, you fall back on the scriptures that you've hidden in your heart. When decisions arise, you fall back on the wisdom you've gained from your walk with the Lord on a daily basis. The time to prepare for the crisis, the time to prepare for the storm that is coming is now. And Jesus makes it simple. Just listen and do what I tell you to do. Because He knows. He sees what you don't see. So the question is today, what kind of spiritual preparations are you making? Are you daily learning, seeking God's wisdom, how to live your life? Are you daily following that wisdom that you find? And I know just as well as you do, Satan's going to make things so difficult for you at times you're going to question, maybe I know I should do this, but in the moment, this is what's going to be the easiest to do. That's building on the sand. That's easy to do. But doing what is right, that's difficult. That's hard to do. It's challenging. Brother Garfield said during Sabbath school, he says, Satan sends you. I'm going to reinterpret what you said a little bit. Satan's going to send you gifts. He's going to send you watermelons. But I promise you, his intentions are not to bless you. You got to throw them out. Throw them out. In that next sentence, Garfield said, if you love Jesus, there's a certain kind of life you need to live. What is it? With your mouth, or it says, they say that they love me, but their actions show otherwise. With their hearts, do they? With their mouth, they say one thing, but the heart does another. This is who this parable is talking about. Those that have a mouth religion and those that have a heart religion. And the question is, which one do you have? The mouth religion is going to take you here. Please, mountains, please fall on me and hide me from the one who is coming. The heart religion says, bring it on. My redemption is drawing near. Come hell or high water, it ain't going to make no difference because I know where I'm going to be. The final forecast does not have to be doom and gloom. Those prophets of old, I've read through them all. A day of deep darkness and so thick and terrifying. But you don't have to be afraid as long as you're following the guide. You're following the captain. Jesus knows how to get you through it. And if you don't have, like that old child, they said, we didn't understand why he was telling us to do this, but we listened to him, and we're glad we did because now we're alive. Sutherland family from America, we're glad we're alive. If we hadn't listened to this man that could barely speak English, we wouldn't be alive. But because we listened to him, we're here today. You don't have to understand it all. Just obey him. Just obey him. Obey and live. Disobey, not going to go well. Everyone, Jesus is preparing us for the storm. And you know, it's interesting actually, because when Jesus in other places is talking about the final moments of Earth's history, which he's talking about here, remember Matthew 7:21 through 23 is about the final generation. 24 through 27, this is the final generation. Two types of believers. There's mouth believers and there's heart believers. There's the false disciples, the true disciples. The only thing that differentiates them, who obeys God and who don't. That's the only thing that differentiates them. And I think it was in Matthew 24 where Jesus says, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of coming Son of Man. How many years did they hear Noah preach? There's a bunch of them. He preached for a long time. And they said they knew not until the flood came and took them away. There's a flood coming, and I ain't talking about water. Well, there's going to be some water floods too, but there's a flood of evil coming, and the only way you can stand on the porch and smile at it when it comes is if you know who you belong to. You belong to whom you obey. And like those three Hebrews, whether I get barbecued or not, I'd be all right. I know I'm going to follow the Lord regardless. I belong to him. You know, you think about it. Think about those disciples. I just think, bunch of chickens. I mean, they scared to death. I don't know, maybe cowards would be the right word. But then all of a sudden, when they saw Jesus, when he was at his resurrection, and they're like, and they realized, though they die, yet shall they live again. Look at them before Gethsemane, and then look at them after Gethsemane. I mean, Peter's got the gall. He's in the temple preaching. Jesus. And they said, you want us to do to you what we just did to Jesus? And he says, you do whatever you want, but we know what we're going to do. We're going to obey the one who told us to be here. And regardless of what happens, doesn't make any difference. No fear. You want to be fearless? You want to be able to stand while the earth is falling? Obey Jesus. It's interesting because actually when you fast forward to, I think it was Revelation 14, you got you see the 144,000. You see that last generation again. They're standing on the sea of glass, and it says this: these are they that follow the Lamb wherever he goes. They don't just listen, they obey. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does them will be like a wise man who builds his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the flood came, and the wind blew and beat upon the house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. And everyone who hears these words of mine and does not do them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rains fell, the floods came, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it. Only those on the rock that survive. And the only ones on the rock are the ones who do what Jesus tells them to do. You know, I got to thinking, Miss Donna, I'm ready for the closing hymn. I almost thought, man, we probably should have sang Trust and Obey because there's no other way. Trust Jesus and obey and do what he says to do. But that's not the one we chose. So whoever's going to lead us in the closing hymn,